Welcome to another episode of Dr. Jarrett's Science Shenanigans. And on today's episode, we're going to be learning about matter, specifically two states, one a solid and the other one a liquid. Everything around you is matter, and matter is anything that has mass and it takes up space. A solid is a form of matter that keeps its shape. So no matter what, it's going to keep its shape. For example, this measuring cup, it's a solid. It keeps its shape. A liquid is a form of matter that takes the shape of the container. So therefore, I have some water in this container, and if I was to pour it into another container, it would look just like that container. So if I was to pour it in here, then it would look like this. And that's what they mean, it takes the shape of its container. A gas is a form of matter that has no shape of its own. So feel around right now. All of this is gas out here, and it has no shape. So today what we're going to do is we're going to make oobleck, my favorite thing to make. Now, I categorize oobleck different than slime. So slime is when you take glue and water and some type of solution, which I like to use borax, and you mix all of that together and it becomes slime. And to me, that is what we call a chemical change because it cannot come back to normal. Now, oobleck, which is used with cornstarch and water, once we mix this together, we're going to have two states of matter at the same time. We're going to have a liquid and we're going to have a solid. So what you can do is you're going to take 2 parts of cornstarch and 1 part of water. What that means is you're going to measure out 2 of the same amount of cornstarch. So this is a 1/2 cup. So I'm going to have 1/2 cup, and then I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do another 1/2 cup. That's my 2 parts. That's my 2 parts. I want to make sure I get all of my cornstarch out. Then to 1 part water. So I have the 2 1/2 cup of cornstarch to my 1 1/2 cup of cornstarch. I pour that in and then I mix it together. So you can see here that I'm mixing it together, and it's kind of rough to mix together as well. It's kind of rough, so you got to kind of use your muscles, and you're going to mix it all together. Mix it all together, and it looks watery. It looks really, really, really watery. So you're mixing it, And I want to make sure that I get all of the cornstarch. And make sure that when you're doing this, that you have an easy place to clean up. So you see I'm doing it on my glass table here. I'm doing it on the glass table. So I'm just going to keep mixing it around. I made a mess. All right, so now it looks like just a bunch of clumps. Looks like a bunch of clumps. And that is what the solid part looks like. That is what the solid part looks like. But then, once I actually pick it up, look what happens. Is it still solid? Oh, this might need a little bit more water. Just a tiny bit more water. Just a tiny bit. If you saw that it wasn't looking like water at the same time that it's looking like a solid, then you need just a little tiny bit more water in it, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's mix it all together. And I'm glad that actually happened because I don't want my followers to try to do this at home and then you're like, what happened? All right, now we're in business, people. Now we're in business. All right, so now I'm going to pick it up, and what is happening with it? Look. It looks like it is a liquid right now. See? But guess what? I can break it all apart. I'm breaking it all apart. And this is what you would call oobleck. This is a physical change. Look, I can put my hands all in it and I can break it apart. But look, it still looks like it's oozing out. But look, I put it in a ball here. I can break my ball apart, or I can just hold it and the ball looks like it's oozing. But it's not oozing at all. So what I want to do is I want to thank you for coming and joining me today with Dr. Jarrett's Science Shenanigans in making our oobleck, and not only making the oobleck, but learning about the states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. And we kind of threw in chemical and physical change too. If I was to take this oobleck and I was to leave it out, it would actually turn back to cornstarch because the water will evaporate out. But if you have slime and you leave that slime out, it will dry out and it won't go back to its original state. And that's why slime is a chemical change and why oobleck with cornstarch and water is a physical change. I hope that you all enjoyed this today. Check you on the next episode of Dr. Jarrett's Science Shenanigans.